Hi. See.
Unmute. Okay, I remember this Zoom from class.
All right. Hi, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Sorry, just had a client text me real quick.
It's okay, don't worry.
He was supposed to pick up his dog, but he just woke up sick. So,
Free dog. I'm just kidding.
so heads up real quick. Were you there when we did the consultation with your sister?
I was there with Veronica when you guys did a training thing.
Okay, I thought I remember like seeing you at some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we started because of COVID. We started filming the consultations and the training sessions and stuff. It helps us out. It lets people know that we're still, working and everything.
Okay.
So I read over your consultation. You got 3 dogs.
Yeah.
Then you have your husky,
Mhm.
and your husky was attacked by off-leash dogs. Was it?
Yeah, so the first time was from a boxer, the second time was from a pit bull, and the third time was from a German Shepherd.
Jesus.
I know. So I feel like I feel like I make him really nervous now because I like freak out every time I see a dog.
Sure. And what was the time span between those? Were they like legitimate attacks where the dogs went after him, or was it like they just charged you and then he?
The first time it was the boxer charged at him, but I grabbed his leash or his collar, so I held them apart, and Maverick was small enough to hold him back, so he was like maybe like 5 or 6 months, and then the second one was an actual attack from the pit bull because it was in a dog park. I live in Carbondale, and we have a really nice dog park over here, but I don't really take him anymore, only with like 2 other dogs, but and they just didn't see us in the dog park because they never let their pit bull with other dogs. And then, so that was an actual one. And the German Shepherd was just recently, like, I want to say, I don't know, like maybe like 3 weeks ago, maybe like a month ago. But he came from his yard, and I had Mila and Maverick, so the 2 huskies, because I was walking both of them, and he just kind of charged at them, but all 3 of them were fighting, and I had to like rip them off of them. So.
All right. So, um, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that. And ever since then, he's been kind of wary, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like ever since then, like even when I was in Michigan with my dad, there was these 2 collies that were running up to him, and because I just didn't realize that they were collies and they were probably good dogs, I like yanked him back and started running in the other direction because I didn't even like look right away, like I'm just so. And then he started growling and acting all crazy, and now like when we pass by dogs, like when we first got back to Carbondale because we're only here for a week, he like growled at this dog for no reason, and I feel like that's because I've been doing that to him, like freaking out and pulling him back and running away.
Okay. Um, we'll talk about that.
He
So
used
one
to have
thing,
so many friends.
sure, and you're not the first person. Unfortunately, you're not going to be the last person.
Mm-hmm.
We just had an incident here at my facility with an off-leash dog that turned into this big old thing. Um, and so for you as the owner, it's safer and wiser to assume threat.
Yeah.
Okay, always. I don't care what the breed is, always.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like when you said, because the collies was like would have been like a fourth one, right?
Yeah,
And
and they
going
were
back,
actually really nice dogs. Like the owners were like, they're really friendly, but I don't know them. So
yeah, no, no, no. That does not matter.
yeah.
Okay. So I've seen, you know, during training sessions. I remember there was one in particular. It was in the South Loop at Grant Park. I was working with the client, and I heard the person say, "Oh, he's friendly" or something. I heard the friendly, right? And the other owner said, "Oh, okay, my dog's friendly too," and it became a fight,
Yeah.
right? So it doesn't matter, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing happened to us here. They were like, "Oh, the dog's friendly," but we had 3 dogs. One dog wasn't friendly. We had to kick the dog back, okay?
Yeah.
I'll educate you more on like what to do in the case of an off-leash dog. I'm actually now, because of everything that happened, and a lot of my clients message me and they're like, "Oh, Jess, we're sorry about what happened, but and these are our experiences." And they start, I've heard so many stories. As now I'm going to start a series on how to handle off-leash dogs.
Yeah.
To help people because it's a problem.
Yeah.
So your best bet is always to assume threat. Okay. Because if you assume like, oh, collies are friendly, you don't know how Maverick's going to perceive it, especially now, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe prior to all three, it would have been fine. But a lot of dogs don't, imagine for you as a human, if you're, walking down the sidewalk and you just see like three men running towards you.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're like, what the, you're gonna just like, what the hell's going on, right? So like it's the same thing for the dog. Okay. Yeah. And yeah, I'm sure there's dogs that don't mind it, but there's lots of dogs that don't. Okay. So that's how I always look at things. I'm like, if I tell the owner, put yourself in the same position and make it human related, how do you feel? They're like, oh yeah, I wouldn't like that at all. I'm like, well then, okay. In terms of getting Maverick kind of back on track, what's your goal? What are you trying to achieve?
Well, here are my goals. I want to feel confident with my dog, like while I'm on the leash with him, and prepared, like how to handle situations, like when dogs are running up to him, or like I really did like how he used to be such a social dog. Like, I would take him to the dog park every day, like play with all types of dogs, and then just things started happening. So I guess really dog parks are just not they're just up in the air. I feel like you never know what's going to happen. Or one dog, like he even has like a really good friend where they just got in a fight one time and they've been friends for a whole year. So it's just, and I want him to like I have two little dogs, Misha and Miles. It's a Pomeranian and a Chihuahua, and they're actually my sister's dogs, but they stay at my parents' house. And just maybe have them one day be together. I don't know. I know we're probably going to have to do a lot of training for that to happen. And I don't know. It's just me being confident, not a tweak with my dog. Because I freak him out and he growls. Like him growling at other dogs like scares me because I don't want him to be a bad dog.
Okay. So, let me think here. How do I explain this? So with the Chihuahua and the Pomeranian, mm-hmm. Has he ever met them before?
Yeah, they've been with him like when he was a puppy, but my sister Vanessa said like don't ever let them together because she's like, you're putting my dogs in danger. But so it's kind of, now she's like, I wish that they were together, they could be together. And I'm like, well, we wanted them to be together when he was a puppy, but there's a lot of gates in my house, so they are around each other, just not like, and whenever they're in the backyard all together loose, like Maverick's always on a leash. So
how are the Chihuahua and the Pomeranian? Are they like little yappy dogs? Or are they
so yappy? Like, yeah.
All right. Is there anything else like goal wise or that you're wanting to achieve?
You know what? There's this one problem, and I'm glad that I brought it up. I like that he's a little bit protective over me because I am in Carbondale by myself, but he's like overly protective. Like I can't even hug my boyfriend without him like barking, and like he like whenever we thought it was like cute when he was little, when I would be sleeping downstairs at my parents' house and he would hear someone coming down the stairs and he would come and run and jump on top of me. And like, just like ready to like, and I just, it's gotten a little bit out of hand because I can't even like hug my boyfriend or anything because he like comes and like barks at him and like nips him a little bit. So.
Sure. Okay. So he's challenging a bit.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's because he's neutered. So this is a big thing. He's not neutered. And it's just something that I haven't been able to make a clear decision on. Like sometimes I'm like, I'm for sure not getting him neutered. And sometimes I'm like, well, maybe it's because he's acting this way because he's not neutered. So.
What's the reasoning for not neutering?
I feel bad. And I feel like he was such a good dog in the beginning. Like he was so social, like non-aggressive. Just never gave me a reason to really
So when it comes to neutering, I recommend it.
Okay.
Now, behaviorally, I don't ever really recommend it. I actually just, for the first time probably in 10 years, I recommended it to a client whose dog is here with us now for a board and train. He's actually the owner that texts me right now.
Yeah.
The reason why I told him to do it was because they were training with me, and then right when COVID hit, back in March, we stopped everything. And all of a sudden, then he bit 3 people. He attacked the dog that he lives with twice, right? So the reason why I recommended it was because the fight with the dog inside the house was because he was trying to mount the dog, which is a testosterone-based behavior. Okay,
Yeah.
so that fight actually would have not happened had he not mounted her.
Okay.
But she was like, "I'm not going to let this happen." And when I talked to the owners, they would tell me about how he would wake up and he would have sex with the pillow, okay,
Oh
or his
God.
dog bed. And it was funny, they said it, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's funny, like he does this and that," right? And in my head, I'm just going, "This is not good. There's a lot of frustration, right?" And then all the other things came about, and the other like testosterone-based behaviors. So I was like, I recommend you neuter him. It'll just help, just kind of settle everything, because he's a 5-year-old dog now.
Yeah.
And just like humans, when we get frustrated, if there's no outlet, dogs get frustrated as well. Okay. The other thing is, it can help prevent, I think it's like prostate cancer or something in dogs. There are some health benefits to it. A lot of people won't neuter until like 2 years old because they want to make sure the dog is fully grown, And I mean, I've had people have all sorts of breeds of dogs, Great Danes, all that stuff, and neuter them as their puppies, and they still grow to be huge.
Yeah.
So my recommendation is, yes, it makes life easier unless there's going to be some kind of outlet for him, because if he smells the female in heat, like he's going to go crazy. Whenever there's other male dogs around, they're going to target him because he's unneutered, and that makes your life harder in terms of trying to socialize them.
Yeah.
Okay. So in regards to like the territorialness over you and stuff, it's possible in the sense that dogs don't see species, they see sex, male, female. Right? So he doesn't care that you're a human, he just knows that you're a female and you have estrogen or whatever. And if he's going to possess you, he's a testosterone-based creature. So that's a potential thing there. Okay. Otherwise, when it comes to stopping the behaviors you don't like the barking and nipping at your boyfriend, like that's not a problem. Neutering or neutered or unneutered doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay. So this is pretty easy. Of course, because I worked with your sister, I worked with e-collar and everything.
Yeah.
And that's what we would do here. It's very simple to use. You get off-leash control.
I do have his e-collar on him all the time.
Oh yeah, did you say you got one already?
Yeah, so I had one. I had a trainer, like a private trainer over here before, that was teaching me how to use it, like for callbacks, like in the dog park and stuff. And then he also went to Extreme Canine, but they weren't using that shock collar. There was just like the first training, and that was supposed to be the next training, the e-collar training with all of the dogs, but then the corona happened, so they pushed it. So
okay. How much does he know?
Like in terms of like just regular dog training, or
yeah, like in terms of obedience, you said you worked on recall or come and called.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't, like ever since I've been home for the summer, I haven't really done much with him. So he was really good in his extreme canine class. Like they, with like walking next to you and then like having a place and going back to that place. Like if you say place, like going to his little bed. But I feel like I definitely didn't keep up with it. So.
Was that with the prong collar?
No, it was a chain collar, and I don't use the chain collar anymore because I use the prong collar because I feel like the chain collar just they use it there, and at training it was good because they kind of like, I don't know, he listened more, but I just feel like it chokes him, so I just don't like it.
Okay. Do you feel like it chokes him because there's tension, or do you feel like just the way it looks like it's choking him?
I feel like there's just tension, like, and I know you're not supposed to like it's supposed to be like loose, but even when I take him to PetSmart, like he when he wants something, like he'll literally choke himself like to go. And so that's why the prong collar is so much better, because he doesn't do that.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out there, because some people it's the look of it. In your case, it's because he wasn't being obedient, so there was tension, which yes could choke the dog.
Yeah.
So that's correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in terms of, I know we have the goals in terms of you being more confident with him, and then you're wanting to rebuild sociability with him. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Obedience wise, what do you need him to do?
I just want him to listen to me more, because he
Okay.
really doesn't. Like, I don't know. He just with, I guess, just like him, like being very protective over me, but he doesn't really listen that much to me. I think he does, but he doesn't.
So the way I operate is I don't teach what I don't, what you don't want or what you don't need.
Okay.
So I'm gonna just go over your options, what they
Okay.
would entail, and then you pick and choose what works best for you. Okay.
Okay.
So I would, for prioritizing what you noted, which was, being more confident with him, building sociability. The boyfriend thing is not a problem. Uh, if we simplify it, that's about 6 classes. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Which is the same as your sister. I think she did with T was like 6.
Okay.
The way we would divide it up is, and plus because of Corona, we've added 2 Zoom classes.
Okay.
So you're really getting 8, but 6, you get up to 6 in person.
Okay.
And then 2 Zoom, and you can always change one of those in-person ones to a Zoom session at no cost. But you get up to 6 in person, okay? The way I would think that, the way I kind of foresee that working out is we would spend 2 classes on leash walking with the e-collar.
Okay.
Okay, that's very important because that shows you how we use it. It teaches Maverick what the e-collar is and how it works. Most trainers, I know you worked with a trainer on the e-collar. Most trainers don't teach it correctly.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I say that very confidently because I've trained many dogs from other trainers that trained the dog on e-collar. And a lot of times they even come in and the dog's on the wrong e-collar.
Oh, okay.
Which means, like, so for instance, I had a gentleman who did a 2-week board and train with his pit bull. The dog was like 90 pounds, big pit. And I walk in and his e-collar is this tiny little thing. And I'm like, that's meant for a 35-pound dog and under. And then he's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, that's a big part of the reason why you have no control over your dog, is your dog's 3 times the size of what's neat, that collar or whatever. So I would reassess what you have.
Okay.
Just to make sure you have the correct thing, because the last thing I'd want is that, like, you try to use it and then we're not getting anywhere because it's not the correct collar, and
Okay.
then you lose classes. Okay.
Yeah.
So 2 we would spend on the leash walking stuff. This will help any reactivity, which is lunging and barking, and will also give you the baseline for those situations where you're being approached by a dog and you're not sure about what to do.
Okay.
Okay. In those classes, your confidence should also go up just because you're getting control.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm working with 2 animals here. I'm working with you and I'm working with your dog. Okay.
Yeah.
The human is always the hardest.
Yeah, I know. That's what my mom said. She's like, it doesn't sound like Maverick needs training. It sounds like you need it. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So, like, when I worked with your sister, Veronica, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're all V's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Veronica, Valerie, and Vanessa.
so obviously, because everything that had happened, I really had to rebuild her confidence.
Yeah.
And you get confidence through success. So once you start to see the e-collar work and you understand how it works and how you can use it, that's how you get confidence. Okay. Then it's, if you're wanting to work on socializing, we would do that by the 3rd class.
Okay.
Okay. We can either bring a dog, but we'd have to, like, work around it, or you can have a friend bring a dog or something that he's never met before, and we show you how we go about it. Okay. Now, realistically speaking, he may not go back to puppy.
Yeah.
Okay, because of what's happened.
Yeah.
If he stays unneutered, again, a variable there.
Okay.
But so like you said, like dog park, there's so many variables. Like it's like like you don't know what's going to happen that day.
Free for all.
Correct. So I don't really care about dog park.
Okay.
If you want to strive for dog park, you're more than welcome to. We'll help you. But if it goes south, I tell people like don't even worry about it, because there's like, like I don't like everybody that I meet. Not everybody that meets me likes me, right? That's just how
exactly.
it is.
Like you never know if just even like one dog, like I could just tell like they weren't gonna like each other, and I ran up and I grabbed him, and his owner was right next to him, so he grabbed him, and all of a sudden they just both like started growling.
Yeah.
Like for no reason.
So, and dog parks tend to be like too busy, So,
Yeah.
but when it comes to like your friend's dogs, a neighbor's dog,
Yeah.
family's dogs, that's more realistic, because you would see the same dogs over and over again.
Yeah.
Right? So what we do is we would show you how to introduce dogs correctly.
Okay.
And sometimes by the end of the first session, the dogs are playing. Other times they're just coexisting and laying down next to each other. Other times there's tension and we have to correct it, but then you keep repeating it.
Okay.
So it's kind of like if you meet someone the first time and maybe it was a bad day for them or something, or maybe a bad day for you, and like you don't like them,
Yeah.
But then like you meet them so many times and then like you learn more about them, they kind of grow on you, as people put it. Yeah, it's the same thing for dogs.
Okay.
Okay, so that's more realistic.
Yeah.
Because then it's like if Maverick sees the Pomeranian and the Chihuahua 100 times, right? And you've done it all correctly, and maybe there's a moment or two, but you correct it and you keep repeating. Eventually he goes, oh, okay, well, I've seen these guys 100 times. They're not that bad.
Yeah.
And then he warms up to them, okay? So there's different ways that can work out, but that's much more realistic than, of course, the dog park.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not even worried about him being around like a bunch of dogs anymore, because I really only go in there with 2 dogs that are his friends. So and I'm friends with their owners, so that's the only, like I was just in the dog park with his friend Moose, and 2 other dogs started coming, and I just grabbed him and left. So really, I don't really care about other dogs.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. And we see how that works out. Okay. After that, it's play it by ear.
Yeah.
Okay. If like let's say you do those classes and then you try the socialization, that we show you how to do, and you're like, hey Jesse, it's working really well. Then I go, awesome, right? You just keep doing that then, because it's just knowing how to do it correctly, right? Okay. Then the next class, maybe you want to work on, working with your boyfriend or whatever. That we could do over a Zoom session. That's not hard. It's pretty easy.
Okay.
And then if all that's going well, and then you have classes left over, then we would teach whatever obedience that you would want. Okay. I'm leaving space for the behavioral stuff and for you, because I don't know how quickly you're going to progress in terms of your confidence and your skill set. Okay. But it seems like you need a lot, but you don't. Okay. For what you're worried about. Okay. So that's how I look at it. And I go, okay, we'll get that done. And if there's anything left over and you feel good, then we'll start teaching other stuff. Okay. Questions about that?
Nope. I think that's all. I think so me and my boyfriend kind of see each other spaced out, because he works in different places. So that's why it would be hard to do that over a Zoom call. But because we like go maybe like a month or 2 months without seeing each other, kind of. So that's why when we're here and we're together, Maverick's being all crazy.
Yeah. So. And he doesn't even need to be present for the session.
Honestly, with anybody, he kind of gets like that. So.
Sure. Yeah, so you can use anybody. So once you understand, again, how it works, so it's super simple in the sense of behavior, is you might think like, well, or a person might think like, oh, if my dog is jumping all over my significant other and like being aggressive, right? Yeah. Don't they need to like that person? I go, no, they just need to respect them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They just need to know, like, you don't do that to that person. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So like, if I'm stopped by a police officer, I may not like the police officer, but I'll respect them because they're a police officer.
Yeah.
You know, so that's much more simpler. So that's not an issue.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, when it comes to the behavioral stuff that we want to correct, like the growling and everything, like we will show you how to do that. Again, it's much simpler than it seems.
Okay.
The 6-week program plus 2 classes or the 2 Zooms, so you're getting a total of 8 hours of work.
Okay.
It's $825.
Okay.
And then, your fee from this consultation does get credited towards that
Okay.
program. Do you happen to have your e-collar like nearby?
Yeah, I have the box too, so I could just
Can I
grab
see
that
it?
really quick. Okay. So it's this one.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one that they told me to buy at the Extreme Canine place because that's the e-collar training that they were going to do with him,
Correct.
but then they never did it.
So you have a good brand, you have a good model. In my experience, how much does he weigh?
He weighs like 57 pounds.
Okay. I'll double check the specs. Yeah, I see him. I'll double check the specs, but I'm pretty sure that's meant for a smaller dog.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I can get another one before we do that.
Um,
Order it online.
let me double check it though.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long ago did you get it? Was it back before Corona?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think it might have been a little
Sure.
while.
So let me double check it, okay?
Okay.
Because you might be able to get away with that.
Okay. Yeah.
I've not used that model a ton, but I'm pretty sure it's meant for smaller dogs. But I wouldn't mind trying a session with it
Okay.
to see if it gets the job done.
Okay.
If we see we have any issue, then I'll let you know.
Okay.
And then if needed, we can provide you with the loaner in the meantime so that you can get that done.
Okay.
And if anything, we may even be able to just buy that collar off of you because
Okay.
it'll be easier for us to sell that than you because we train dogs all the time. So
Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're out in Villa Park.
Yeah. So my parents live in Villa Park. So I would live there when I come to Chicago.
Okay. Where is Villa Park?
It's by like, do you know where Oak Brook Mall is?
Is that northwest?
Okay, wait. Never eat sour west. Yeah.
What was that? Never eat.
Sour watermelon. Never
What's
eat
that?
sour watermelon. So north, south, northeast, southwest.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What you said? It's
West.
It's west.
Yeah.
Okay, you're west.
Yeah.
Is that like by Elmwood Park?
Yeah, you have to pass Elmwood Park.
Yeah, you're way
So
okay.
it's way west. So it's
Whenever I
like,
hear park, I'm like that's used probably.
I'm trying to think of other places around there. Oak Brook, Addison, Villa Park. Kind of. Yeah, it's like it's in the country. No, it seems like it's in the country, but it's not that far. Like it probably takes me like 40 minutes to get to the city with traffic, or like so an hour-ish when I go to my sister's.
Sure. Okay. So you have a couple of options here.
Mm-hmm.
So because of Corona, like we're not doing in-home temporarily.
That's fine.
We are meeting with clients out at here in the city. So the first option would be, since you're coming from so far west, we could meet you at Independence Park,
Okay.
which is closer than closer west than where Veronica lives.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea.
Okay.
We typically work at Oz Park, which is actually just a little bit south of when she lived in Lakeview.
Yeah.
Or just north of when she lived in, I think, in the Gold Coast area.
Yeah.
Right. So Oz Park is deeper in the city. The pro is there's usually lots of dogs there, off-leash dogs even, bikes, skateboarders, rollerbladers, so there's a lot more distraction.
Okay.
The con is you're having to go deeper in the city. It's probably another 20 minutes past Independence Park.
Okay.
Because there's no immediate expressway exit to there.
Okay.
Independence Park is actually right off an expressway.
Okay.
Okay, so that's closer, but it's usually quieter.
Quiet? Yeah,
Yeah.
so I would rather do the one with more distraction.
Dog Park, sure.
Yeah.
Um,
I drive to my sister's house all the time, so I'm used to being in the car for an hour.
I've been to, like, I know Elmwood and Oak Park, and I'm aware of like how long it can take, especially with traffic. So I like to give people options.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Oz Park is a great place to practice, and you'd be working with me. Okay. If you'd rather have someone go over by you, I do have my junior trainer or trainers who are now starting to pick up their own clients. Okay.
Okay.
The way it works with them is you'd get 6 classes with them in person, okay, where they would travel to you. And then your Zoom sessions would be with me, okay? And you would get a third Zoom session. So you'd actually get 9 hours of work for the same price.
Okay.
Okay. The only difference is my trainer travels to you, okay? They're very good trainers. They've trained a lot of all our board and trains and all the dogs that come here at the facility, and they've done great work. But now they're trying to learn how to train the owner to train the dog. Okay. So and they've been doing well. They've been doing really well. And then your Zoom sessions with me would help kind of if they're struggling with anything, I would help you through that.
Okay.
So if you want more of the convenience of someone traveling to you, we also have that as an option.
Okay.
Okay. Other than that, I don't really foresee anything like too difficult here. Hopefully, since Maverick was friendly, at a time, he may go back to that dog.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no guarantees, or unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I would say you're more likely going to be able to socialize them once you learn how to do so correctly. We'll also go over how to handle off-leash incidents and things like that. Protecting yourself, protecting Maverick. We'd send you, of course, like the video that we have up and everything like that, so that you can educate yourself, because that's part of the problem as well.
Okay.
It's like, let's say you do all this training and he's charged by an off-leash dog and it's mishandled. Like, he's gonna say, like, screw your training.
Yeah.
He's like, this keeps happening. Like, screw the training, right?
Yeah.
So it's really important that the owner knows what to do. I had another dog owner whose dog was attacked, not just like approached, attacked 3 times in 2 years.
Wow.
And I taught her what to do, and there was been plenty more incidents of her being charged off leash while she was with her dog, but because she knew what to do, nothing ever happened.
Oh, that would be amazing.
So, but you have to be prepared to defend yourself and defend your dog physically.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people think about, like, well, I don't want to hurt the dog. I'm like, yeah, but a dog fight is going to do more damage and damage both, like, physically, psychologically for the dog, and even financially if it's a really expensive vet bill.
Yeah.
So we cover that stuff with you, and then it's really just play it by ear. But I think you're going to be fine with just the 6 classes in terms of what you're wanting. If you want more control and more obedience, we do have a 9 and 12-week program.
Okay.
Where we, if you wanted full off-leash control, that's 12 classes. If you want, like, kind of in the middle, that's 9 classes. If you're just concerned about fixing a problem, you're fine with 6. If you want more control obedience wise, then we have other programs that you can do.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah. So we'll do the 6 and then the 2 Zoom ones. And then I feel like it would be better if I did it with you, because then we would be in the city at that park with all the distractions and stuff. So
Sure.
If that would be even, I don't know if your schedule's really busy, but I have to leave to school. Like, the latest I have to leave is by August 10th. So I'll be back for like 2.5 weeks, I think. So, yeah, because that's a week before my school starts again.
So you have like 3 weeks or so before you go back.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you go. So you got 3 weeks. You're gonna go. And then you come back again. I'm sorry.
So let's see, I'm coming back. I'm in Carbondale right now, and I'm coming back on this Saturday, and then I'm leaving for school on the 10th of August. So I don't know. I know that's kind of like cutting it close.
Yeah. So what we would do is um, do what we can within that time frame.
Okay.
I wouldn't do 6 classes in 2 weeks.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be
that's
too
fine.
much information for you. Okay.
Yeah.
You can space it out. That's perfectly fine. Like we have people that travel.
Yeah.
What we would do is get you started
Okay.
and then see how you're progressing.
Mhm.
Um, we'll if we do two, we'll make sure to cover. We have to do the heel,
Okay.
and we'll show you how to do the socialization stuff.
Okay.
Okay. If we can
Mhm.
squeeze the third one in, we'll do that as well,
Okay.
and that should set you up for when you're gone. You
Yeah.
continue doing that stuff. Okay.
Okay.
And then when you have a break or you have time to come back and do a session,
Yeah.
you schedule it and you're like, hey, Jesse, it's been really good. We haven't had any problems. This is great.
Okay.
What can I learn today? And then I go, oh, okay, sure. Then we move on to the next thing.
Okay. Yeah, that's perfect because just leaving with something would be great.
So that's not a problem. I'll talk to Maria and let her know that you're on a time constraint
Okay.
so that she can try to get you in as soon as possible. Okay.
Okay. Great.
Anything else?
No, that's all. Thank you so much. We
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you
No,
sleeping.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll research that caller and then I'll double check it and stuff,
Okay.
and then we'll figure things out. All right.
Okay. Great. Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Valerie.
Have a good
You're
day.
welcome.
All right.